Here are the 10 pieces of camera gear that I found in 2024. At least, for me. This year, I adapted a new daily camera kit, as well as made additions to my YouTube creator kit. I did purchase all the gear featured in this video except for one, which I'll let you know about later. But this video is not sponsored. For our first piece of camera gear, it's gonna be the Fujifilm X100 Mark VI. For me, it's the best point and shoot camera that I own. It's got an ND filter, shoots up to 4K 60 and 6K, but most importantly, it's a compact camera without a need for a camera bag. I, like most people who bought this camera, are able to just go ahead and be free, just shooting photos, occasionally maybe a couple clips of videos here and there, but I worry less about editing, I enjoy photography more, and I just shoot it for me. I don't use the Fujifilm to create content for this YouTube channel for like B-roll or even A-roll, but this next piece of gear is used on my YouTube channel, and it just makes everything beautiful. This is a Viltrox 27mm f1.2. This is probably one of the best mid-range prime lenses for the APS-C system. It is a 40mm full frame equivalent, so it's good for everyday shooting and also for any subject, except for macro, of course. But other than that, I do consider this a Sony G Master quality because it's got things like the weather sealing, it's got the aperturing, and it does have all the buttons and switches that you could need for operating your camera lens. Manually, of course. The autofocus is just superb and it's great in low light. So whether I'm shooting here for my YouTube channel or I'm just going ahead and taking photos and videos at church, it's a very dependable lens. As much as I love this as a prime lens in my camera kit, there's always got to be room for a zoom lens. And this year, it's the new Sigma 28 to 105mm f2.8. If I could have one lens that just does it all, this would be that lens. Since buying the Sony a7 IV, this lens has just lived on my camera body. It's got a versatile range. Although it's not as wide at 24mm, 28mm is perfectly fine with me. It's got the great low light performance. Again, it's got the f2.8, which is able to just take in all that light. Plus, if you think that 105mm is not enough for you, I like to use the Super 35 mode, which punches in for like a 157mm. So do I still need a 70-200? In my particular case, not really. So for me, this still ends up being the last zoom lens that I need for full frame. Everything is just so sharp. It's got all the buttons and switches, and it's just so hard not to love that lens. Yeah, it's a little bit on the heavier side, but it's really not a big deal when that's the only lens that I'll be carrying with that camera body. Without a doubt, it's an awesome lens that can future-proof anyone who uses it. But visuals is only half the equation to a great video. That's why the next item that I got for my audio solution is the DJI Mic 2s. I previously used to use the Rode Wireless Go 2s, but since getting the new updates with the 32-bit float and just the overall ecosystem with other DJI products, I decided that the DJI Mic 2s were a perfect fit for me. It's got a charging case, and unlike the Go 2s at the time, they did not have a charging case, so being able to put your mics in and take your mics out and just have it work and record right away was just so easy, and it's just hard to not want to go after that. It makes hard not to love this ecosystem when they also just released a Sony specific hot shoe adapter, which eliminates the need to plug in a 3.5mm wire from the receiver to your Sony camera. For me, this audio solution just screams convenience at every turn. And with the 32-bit float, it's really a matter of setting and forgetting, and you're good to go. As long as the mic is recording as you want and the battery life is good, you're all set. Of all the things that make my YouTube content creation easy in this studio, it's gotta be a rig, a camera rig for my FX30. And I finally settled on the perfect one for me. And that's the Cineback by Camera Foundry. It's a compact form factor for a rig. There's no need for rails, but if you want to go ahead and add them, you're more than welcome to. For me, I was looking for a better alternative to the small rig V-mount plate because I just want to go ahead and use my Sony FX30, set it and forget it. Being able to use the D-tap ports and just leave it on there and have a power solution to be able to keep it running for my A-roll and my B-roll. Being able to record these long YouTube videos because I kind of go off the cuffs and it can easily be 40 minutes for one YouTube video, and if I'm batch recording, the simple Sony batteries are just not gonna cut it. I have monitors attached to the rig, I have a microphone boomed from the rig, and if I really wanted to, I can also put a follow focus system on it if I want to go ahead and experiment with those. But outside the studio though, I do like to keep things a lot more simple. So when I'm at a venue like church, I've stuck to one of the best innovations of the year, the new iFootage monopod. This is one of the most convenient pieces of camera gear that I have in my kit. Prior to this, I was using a monopod by YC Onion, and I think it was their Pinita version, which allows for a one-hand operation, being able to adjust the height. But I didn't like how I had to unlock the flap and lock it down. Although this was an easier way to manage the height of your monopod as opposed to twisting and untwisting, I still was seeking more. So at the press of a button, which is really just squeezing the grip, you can easily adjust the height without having to unlatch and latch, twist or untwist, and it's just so easy. I no longer bring a tripod to my church for any of the video or photo stuff. I just need that monopod and my A7 IV with the 28-105 and I'm set. No matter what device, with in-body image stabilization or not, this monopod is an easy way to get steady footage. But when I'm out and about and I don't want to go ahead and carry any tripods or huge camera bodies with bulky lenses, well, my rule of thumb is if it can't fit in my next piece of gear, I don't bring it out. And that's the Wotan Craft 7-liter Pilot Sling Bag. Wotan did reach out to me after seeing last year's video on the best gear that I got of 2023, and they gave it to me for review. I was a little skeptic at first, but I was surprised to see how much this 7-liter bag could actually fit, because it actually felt like a large, small bag. In this bag, I usually pack two things: the Pocket 3 and the Fuji X100VI. Then of course it's gonna fit all my small batteries, a battery bank, and any other accessories that I use with my cameras, and the bag still doesn't feel heavy. If I wanted to be more productive, then I can also slip in my iPad mini with the keys to go from Logitech, which is a keyboard. But if you're rocking something like an iPad Air, that fits in there as well. I thought I would be losing a lot from switching from the Moment 10-liter sling to this bag, but even if the Wotan Craft is 3 liters smaller, it doesn't feel that way. Plus I just love that magnetic lock that it's got with a one-hand operation. So no more zippers to access the main compartment. For weekend trips that require more stuff, well, I still don't want to strain my back, but I've been using this bigger 18-liter bag by Nomadic, specifically the Peter McKinnon 18-liter bag. Unless I'm shooting content for the channel or shooting things for church, I'm really still gonna use my Pocket 3 and my Fuji X100VI and bring things like a laptop. I still don't even want to take a tripod, but if I want to go ahead and fit daily stuff in there, whether it's like another jacket or something, that's the bag that I end up choosing. I do have a review video and comparison video about this particular bag, but the main reason why I like it is that it feels light, it comes with a sternum strap, and I'm able to pack small or pack large the way that I see fit. Anything larger is just gonna go in my Nanik hard case, and it's wheeled, so that's really less stress on my back. Now, although all the stuff that I've mentioned so far can fit into this bag, you won't want to do that with this next item. But if there's any piece of gear that you're gonna end up getting that's gonna improve your quality, it's gonna be this light. The Amaran 300C with the Light Dome 3. This is the most powerful cob light that I own. Yes, it's got the RGB. I mostly got this light because I wanted to know what it was like to have a 300-watt light. Now, normally something for this setup, I'm using a 100-watt light from Amaran, which is working perfectly fine. It's running at 100%, the fan's not too loud, and it's been doing a great job with the grid on top. Great, but one of the reasons why I got a 300-watt light was just so I can go ahead and experiment with different lighting situations, play around with RGB, even shine that light through a window like I did for this particular shot. Because as I'm starting to dabble a little bit in filmmaking and cinematography on this channel, I have learned that most of the time it's not going to be the camera bodies or the lenses that really make your video stand out, but it's the quality of your lighting and the lighting setups. So adding this stronger 300-watt light to be able to add to the ambiance of the scene is going to be more important than buying the next expensive lens, since the Sigma 28-105mm. But of all the tech that I got this year, one of my most favorite has got to be the Stream Deck XL. Now, although stream is in the name, that's not what I end up using it for. As someone who makes videos on the side, nursing is my full-time gig, I want to be able to streamline the process of being able to create videos. And one of the first things that I end up doing before even hitting record is writing scripts. and developing a shot list for those scripts. So a lot of the time I write things like studio B-roll, archive B-roll, screen record B-roll, or I change certain colors of the text just so that I can identify, okay, this is going to be a voiceover, this is going to be the B-roll, this is the sound effect, just things like that. I'm doing this all in Notion, by the way, which I completely love and totally recommend. And one of the reasons why I love using the Stream Deck for this part of the process is that with each individual button, I'm able to map a certain function or what they call macros for Notion. So if I want to change the text to blue, I can do that with the press of a button rather than using shortcuts. This also makes it easier for my editor to see, okay, this is going to be the B-roll, this goes here, this goes there, and it's just visually easier for all of us to stay organized. Plus, if you're fancy and have found a good AI system for you, like ChatGPT, or use the in Notion AI, you can use that AI to make a shot list out of what was already in your script and things like that. So that's all my favorites of 2024, but if you're looking for the next best pieces of camera gear, well, that video is right over here. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, keep shooting for the life that matters. See ya.